Okay, good evening. Today I am going to discuss the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock with the context of Penrose stairs, and using certain mathematical formulas I would try to demonstrate how the poem performs the loop and how the hell that is in the poem is in the form of a loop. In the very beginning, I want to present a notion of thanks to one of my students, Nishwara Bhattacharya, who has actually inspired me to look into the Penrose stairs. So thanks to him. So I would talk about certain aspects of time and space in this lecture. And I would start from quoting 4 quatrains. Time present and time past are both perhaps present in time future, and time future contained in time past. These lines from 4 quatrain, the Burnt Norton, known as a section known as Burnt Norton, by T.S. Eliot, is a symptom of Eliot's obsession with time, which is manifested in most of his poems with individual variations. In the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, we find how a being is trapped in time. Prufrock's cognitive identity turns this trap in time to his ontological hell, as in equation time is equal to 1 by displacement. Therefore, if time becomes infinite, space becomes 0, or hence no displacement. Therefore, for Prufrock, who is trapped in kairos or infinite time, there can be no displacement in terms of space, and he remains in ground zero. The algebraic equation of this is called Infinity Algebra, as we can find from here, where the phi is equal to root 5 minus 1 by 2. So what is Infinity Algebra? We prove that the bar complex of it can be equipped with the structure of Infinity Algebra, so that the bar construction defines a functor from infinity algebras to infinity algebras. We prove the homotopy uniqueness of such natural infinity structure on the bar construction. We apply our construction to the cochain complexes of topological spaces, which are instances of infinity algebras. We prove that the nth integrated bar complexes of the cochain algebra of a space X is equivalent to the cochain complex of the n-fold iterated loop space of X under reasonable connectedness, completeness, and the finite assumptions of X. We also see that it is being represented in the Fibonacci sequence. Writing dn a in the bracket an comma b and using Fibonacci sequence, it is easy to see that the starting from the seed d0 is equal to d in the bracket 0 and 1, and d1 is equal to d in the bracket 1 and 0. We obtain the following dimensional hierarchy. By complete induction, one finds dn is equal to 1 by phi to the power n minus 1. The nth Fibonacci number is given by the formula which is called the Binet form, named after Jacques Binet, and this is the Binet formula. N is the integer, is equal to phi minus 1 to the power n minus phi to the power n by phi minus 1 plus phi, which represents the infinity. As a being who is trapped in this time loop, the question of his identity as a being admits us to the positionality, and in here Heideggerian analysis comes to us. This identity with each of us is himself. we do not the term Dasein in his being and time. As the being who is pleased with existence, Heidegger defines, I am pleased with my existence. Ich bin mit meinem Dasein zufrieden. Heidegger sought to use the concept of Dasein to uncover the primal nature of being or the Sein, agreeing with Nietzsche that Dasein is always a being engaged in the world. But Eliot's Prufrock is more of a Cartesian abstract agent who is disengaged with the world, and therefore he is an entity but not the being of entities. And so he looks across the stage of existence and says, let us go then, you and I. When the evening is spread out against the sky, like a patient etherized upon a table. Prufrock wants us to go, but in terms of both time and space, he is trapped. Like the Beckettian anti-heroes Vladimir and Estragon, he too realizes a rien à faire, nothing is to be done. Eliot's preoccupation with the nature of self is central to a reading or to the reading of the poem. The poem questions the notion of self as a unified identity. At every stage in the poem, the self that Prufrock reveals appears to be fragmented and elusive, and it dissolves to the assumed role. To quote, there will be time to prepare a face to meet faces that you meet. There will be time to murder and create, and time for all the works and the days of hands. And therefore, the identity remains fragmented. And the Prufrockian being and the Eliotist being becomes like the joined hands, the famous lithograph of Escher. And I have known that arms already, known them, arms that are braceleted and white and bare. And then moving forward, and should I then presume, and how should I begin? I should have been a pair of ragged claws. Michel Foucault, in his essay of Other Spaces, Utopias and Heterotopias, said, we do not live in a sort of vacuum within which individuals and things can be located, or may take on so many different fleeting colors, but in a set of relationship that define position, which cannot be equated or in any way superimposed. Prufrock's identity lacks the singularity, and therefore he is not just a hero or an anti-hero or an absurd man or even an existentialist person. He is all of these and perhaps more. He has the crisis of heterotopic space, which is Dante's Inferno. And I am quoting the translated form, for which I have known them already, known them all. I have known the evenings, mornings, afternoons. I have measured out my life with coffee spoon. This is what the Prufrock says, and which is basically the continuation of what we find in Inferno. Prufrock is the Foucauldian crisis heterotopia, which he defines as, to quote, there is a certain form of heterotopia that I would call crisis heterotopia. That is, there are privileged or sacred or forbidden places, in this case the hell, reserved for individuals who are in relation to society and to the human environment in which they live in a state of crisis. The reference to hell is mine own. In this border zone, Prufrock exists as a fragmentary individual in shirt sleeves and the bottom of trousers rolled, searching to find the loophole in the infinitum continuum of the Penrose stairs of hell. Eliot, being aware of it, writes in 4 portraits, in my beginning is my end. And now I am going to talk about what is Penrose stairs and how Prufrock is a part or who is trapped in the Penrose stairs. We construct a non-commutative scheme that behaves as if it is the space of Penrose tilings of the plane. Let K be a field and B is equal to K in the bracket xy and again bracket y multiplied by 2. We consider B as a homogeneous coordinate ring of a non-commutative projective scheme. The category of, to quote, quasi-coherent sheaves on it is by Fiat the quotient category Q, that is capital Q, gr in the bracket, the second bracket b is equal to gr in the bracket b slash, that is the under f dim b. I have tried and represent it in another form, which is d is equal to a comma b equal to a plus b phi, underneath dn is equal to an and b. The category of coherent sheaves on it is small q gr and b is equal to gr b divided by f dim b, where GRB is the category of finitely presented graded modules and f dim b is the full subcategory of finite dimensional graded modules. We show that Q, capital Q GRB is equivalent to mode S, the category of left modules over the ring S, that is the direct limit of the directed system of the finite dimensional semisphere algebras. S underscore n is equal to m underscore third bracket f underscore n, f minus n, third bracket close, second bracket k, plus m underscore f underscore n minus 1 bracket close k, where f underscore third bracket n minus 1 bracket close and f underscore n to the dollar are adjacent to Fibonacci number, and the maps of s underscore n slash to s underscore n plus 1 are a comma b, and the diagram goes a comma b comma a. When k is the complex number, the norm closure of S is the C-sharp algebra. Cones used to view the A cone in its non-commutative geometry uses to view the space of Penrose tiling as non-commutative spaces. That is, again I am trying to focus d bracket a and b is equal to d plus b, a plus b, and then you have the infinite produces dn and a n comma b, where a and b belongs to this. Objects in QGRB have projective resolutions of length at most one of the non-commutative curve. Penrose tilings of the plane are bijection with infinite sequence z equal to z underscore 0, z minus 1 of zeros and ones with no consecutive ones. We associate to each sequence a graded B module, a point module that becomes a simple object module, that becomes a simple object O0. 0 minus Z in the QRB that we think of as a skyscraper shift at a point on this non-commutative curve. Tiling T minus Z and T minus Z within third bracket determined by two such sequences are equivalent, that is the same up to the translation of R multiplied by 2 if only O underscore Z is isomorphic to O underscore third bracket Z to the minute. A result of Herbian shows that ext multiplied 1 in the bracket 0 minus Z and 0 minus Z as a minute is a non-zero for all Z and Z minutes. This is an algebraic analog. The fact that every equivalence class of tiling is dense in the set of all Penrose tiling. Thank you.